Hello everyone, my name is Dinesh Aleti. Welcome back to my channel Behind the Terminal. Today I've come up with one very interesting project. So automate file sync to AWS S3. I will show you the architecture first. So we have the local computer and we have one AWS account A and another AWS account B. I have the web source files like HTML, CSS and JavaScript in my local computer, and I'm going to copy the files from the local computer to S3 in account A. Okay, and now EC2, which is in account B, has Apache web server running. So the source files for the Apache web server is served from the S3, which is in account A. So this is a cross account. Okay, and the important point of this project is we are going to copy the files from the local computer to S3 with Python script. That's point number one. And the second important point is it is always going to be in the sync. The S3 in account A and the local computer will be in sync. What do I mean by that? What I mean is, now if I change anything in the index.html, for instance, it is going to be reflected in the S3 and the same is reflected in the Apache web server. So the moment I save, if I change something and save, it is reflected in the web server. That is what I want to achieve. Okay. Now what will you learn here? You will understand how Python can be used to copy files from the local computer to S3. What are the permissions you require? What's a procedure? Okay. And the second thing is we learn about the permissions and the policies that are required to give cross-account access, because we have S3 in account A and EC2 incident is running in account B, right? So what are the IAM roles and policies you need to give in order to make this work, right? And the third thing is you'll see the interesting Python script. So how this Python script is leveraged to copy the files, and also it is made sync with the local computer and the S3. How is it done? So that is what I'm going to show you in this project. You also need to understand the prerequisites here. So I think you need to have basic Python scripting knowledge, and you need to have two AWS accounts, because we are doing a demo based on the two accounts cross account. So try to create these two accounts, and in each of these accounts you have IAM admin. That's a best way to have. And along with the IAM admin, create S3 user in account A and create EC2 user in account B. If you see the architecture, I clearly mentioned that. Okay, so IAM user, S3 user here, and EC2 user in account B. All right. I'm going to show you how we do the project in order. So if you see here in this website, this is my Notion page. I will share this page with you. So when I share this page with you, you have access to all this. So in each step, if you see here, these are all steps. So you need to do this project in order. So first we'll download the sample website to the local PC. Then we'll log into management account, IAM user console, and create IAM users. And we'll see how to create the S3 access user. And we'll just go through all these things. Okay. So try to keep in mind that all these steps need to be done in order. And for example, if I show you, let's say login with EC2 user, create IAM role for EC2 service, and give S3 full permissions in the policy, right? So in this particular step, if you go inside, I gave you clear explanation what step it is. And for example, this step has got any policy or IAM rule or any kind of description, and if you need that code, it's available right here. So I explained the policy as well. So we will see this project step by step, and I will share this project with you. Okay, you have all the content, you have all the scripts, you have all the code. You just need to take this page, and I will also give you access to edit this thing. So what this is status, right? So when you finish this step, set it to done. Before, it should be not started, or not started, and if it is in progress, so keep it as in progress, and if it is done, change it back to done. So keep everything not started, and as soon as you finish step by step, one step after the one step, so change that from not started to done. So this way you'll have clarity how many steps this project has got, and where you are, how much you have finished. It's nothing like, you have to finish this project in single go. You do this one step, you do 4 5 steps, you can pause, you can take a break, and you can come back, and you can clearly see how much you have finished the project, and you can start from there. You understand what I'm saying? So it's very easy to track your project. So the first step, download sample website into your local PC. Open this. You have the information. So this is a two-plate website. You have all the free web templates here. I'll just download this one. Go down, download, and once it is downloaded, you copy the files in a particular folder. Okay, whenever you are creating any project, have a dedicated folder like projects in that project one. Okay, so since I've downloaded this file, I've already pasted that into a dedicated projects folder in my computer. So you do this step and do the next step. Okay, now since we already finished the first step, what we should do, keep it to done. Now when we are starting the second step, keep it in progress. And what is the second step now? Log into management accounts admin, IAM user console, and create IAM user. And the IAM username is S3 access user. You remember, right? So in our architecture, we have IAM S3 user in account A. Okay. So what I want to say here is any AWS account will have one IAM admin. So the root account will not directly create IAM users. The root account will have one standard IAM admin user. So this particular admin user will be given to the administrator. Now this administrator will be creating all the necessary IAM roles, IAM users, and so on. So we are doing the step 2, right? And I've already put it into progress. Now what we have to do, log into management accounts, admin, IAM users, console. So as I already said in the prerequisites, you need to create two accounts, account A and account B. In each account you need to have IAM admin, and in account A you need to have S3 user, and account B you need to have EC2 user. All right. So I will have to log in with account A's admin users details. Okay, so I have all the details written here. As I said, the admin user will be creating the IAM user, S3 user. I recommend you to write all these IAM admin, S3 user credentials, secret access key, and access key IDs in a page in a notepad, because every time typing is very tedious task. Now what is our objective here? We need to go to IAM and create a IAM user. Create user. You want to create S3 user. Provide user access to the AWS management console. Okay, let's check that. And yes, we just want to create an IAM user. Give the password directly here instead of you AWS giving a auto generated password and going there and changing the password. Just give the password. Try to give only one password for everything so that you remember. So this uncheck this user must create a new password at next sign-in, because we already gave the custom password, right? So just uncheck that. Next, and here attach policies directly. Amazon S3 full access. Next, create user. All right, so have we finished the second step? Yes. So as soon as you finish the second step, come here and click done. Now we'll start with the third step. Now we are in step 3. Log in with S3 access user and create S3 bucket. We'll go to console. This is admin user account. Add session. What is the username we have created? S3 username. So what is the objective for this step? We need to create a bucket. So go to S3, create a bucket, general purpose, and I gave this bucket name because for the rest of the project in all the code it is mentioned as steel bucket, so I don't want to create a new bucket name because I'll have to update in the rest of the code. So this is what it is. So steel bucket, block all public access, and for now we don't use a bucket versioning. It is very, actually it is must in organization. We generally, whenever we create any buckets, we use the versioning, because accidentally if you delete something, you have your versions, you can go back to that version and restore all the files. So that's a different story. Now that's it, and create bucket. Okay, so we are done with the step 3. So as soon as you are done with the step 3, go back. Done. Now if you want to take a break, please, by all means, be my guest. Take a break and come back. Now we are in the step 4. In this step 4, the objective is to copy the files, the website source files from the local computer to S3, which is in account A. If you see the architecture, website source from the local computer to AWS account A's S3 users bucket. Okay. So as I already said in the starting of the video, you need to have basic understanding of Python scripting, but I'll try my best to explain line by line. Now put the status from not started to in progress. Okay, you can open this particular step and see you have everything. I clearly gave you the script, what it does. If you click on any line, it will give you the comments, and you have the basic questions regarding this script, because I can't explain the whole Python scripting. So regarding the scripting, I have basic questions you can just go through if you have doubts, but still I'm going to explain you line by line. All right, so go back. Now we put it into no progress. Now I'll go to the whiteboard section and I'll explain you the script line by line. So here we are in the whiteboard section. First we will write boto3, because boto3 is the package we got where we can interact with the AWS services. Next, we also need to import OS, because What are we doing in this script? In this script, our objective is to copy the files which are in your local computer to the S3, right? So in order to access the local computer, the files and folders, you need to import this OS module. All right. So OS is a module, and this is from the Python standard library. Okay. Okay. So now our objective is to send the files from the local computer to the S3 bucket. So for this, we have imported the OS module and the Boto3. Boto3 is a package and the OS is a module. Now, what is the next thing? So that ultimately there is only one thing we need to do, that is sending the files from local computer to S3. That is, so what I will do, you need to know the one step, the whole scripting. Don't see the script as a big script. There is only one thing we are doing it. What is this? So s3 underscore client dot upload file. This is the only thing we need to do. S3 client has to do the upload file method. All right. So if we execute this particular code, it will upload the file from the local computer to S3 bucket. But how does this upload file method know which files to be copied, from where it has to be copied, to where it has to be copied, to which bucket it has to be copied, and in the bucket under which path it has to be copied, right? So if we define these three values, this particular file will execute. That's it. Now let's understand these two parts. Okay, this is a different part, this is a different part. This one is a different part, this one is a different part. Okay, so this s3 underscore client is just a variable. So we have boto3 dot client. When we are using client method, we need to specify the resource. Similarly, you can also use EC2. You can also use IAM. So for all these different resources, you will have different methods. Now what is a method? Now upload underscore file is the method. What is this? This is a method. So now we'll remove this as well. So when we are using boto3.client and we have specified S3, for S3 there are certain methods. Not every service will have the same methods. So for this S3 we have upload file, we also have delete object method, we also have delete objects to delete multiple objects. So these are the different methods. So the same thing can be written like this: delete underscore object. Okay, till here you understood. Now this upload underscore file is a method. When we are using a different resource, for example EC2, we might not have the dot upload file method, because for the EC2 resource we don't upload anything to EC2, right? We will have a different method like launch instance, stop instance, etc. So the same thing, how we will write? We'll write my EC2 client launch instance method. So This is method and this is the client. Okay, so this much, at least this bit you need to understand very clearly. If you really don't understand this thing, you will not understand the rest of the scripting at all. This is the only package, Boto3 package, we have to interact with the AWS. So try to understand it. You go through this portion again and again until you understand it very well. All right. Okay. Now, if you understood this, I'll just remove this thing. Now, when I said upload file is a method, so this step will upload the files from the local computer to the S3 with the help of upload file method. If you want to delete something, we'll use a different method. Okay. Now, but if we are using the upload file method, and if we want the S3 client to upload some objects from local computer to S3, it needs 3 arguments. Like, the first one is it needs to know the local path, right? And it also needs to know the bucket name, and it also needs to know the S3 file path. Okay, so what are these 3? So as I said, S3 client.upload file will upload the file from the local computer to S3, but it has to know, right, where is the path of your files in the local computer and which bucket you want those files to be uploaded to, and it also needs to know the S3 file path. We will talk about the S3 file path little later in the script, because in S3 you can't upload objects with the folder names. It will just show it as a folder name in the S3 bucket. It is actually an object. It is just simulating the name with the folder, but it is not actually a folder. Okay, so what we will do now, let me remove all this. We don't need, let this be. We need to give local path as a first argument, bucket name as a second argument, and the S3 file path as a third argument. If we give these 3 arguments, it will upload the files from the local computer to S3. So we need to define this path. We need to define these 3 arguments. This is easy. We'll just tell where is our folder in our computer. Okay, and this is also easy. We'll just tell where is our bucket. But here comes a tricky part. S3 file path. Here S3 only needs the relative path. Okay, it does not require the full path. What do I mean by full path? I'll give you an example. Let's say if I have my website source files in this particular Barista Cafe folder. Now this complete path is the absolute path. Okay, this is what absolute path. So first what we need to do is we need to get the absolute path till the file name. So the same thing, if you have a file inside the Barista Cafe folder, let's say you will have index.html file, right? So now this is the absolute path till the file, including the file. Okay, now this is the important thing. Here S3 will only take the relative path. It does not require your full absolute path. Okay, now which portion is the relative path? Here only this portion is the relative path. Let's say you have another folder inside, css dot style dot css. Now in this path, what is the relative path? Now this is the relative path. Okay, so S3 only wants the relative path. It does not require the full path. For that, first what we will do, we will use a module. What module we'll use? We will use OS module. In the OS module, we have os.walk. Now same like this, in this module the upload underscore file is a method, right? Similarly in this portion is the method. So what are the another examples of another methods what we have in OS walk is os.list directory. We have make directory. So these are all methods. So for each method we'll have different arguments. So for os.walk we'll have different arguments. For list directory we have different arguments, and make directory we have different arguments. So what are we doing with this OS walk? We are telling this os.walk method to take some example folder, and we are telling this os.walk to walk through this example folder. Okay, this example folder might have like index.html. we also have a separate folder, and we have styles inside .css. we might also have a JavaScript folder and sample.js. so we are telling this os.walk method to walk through all the files inside this example folder and get the file names. So we want all the file names because we want to upload all the files names to the S3 bucket, right? This is the thing. So what this os.walk will give us when we do this, it gives us three things. When we execute this line, we'll get three things. One, it will give the directory path. So the directory path is nothing but the example folder. Second, it will give directory names. So what are the directory names we have? CSS is a directory name, JS is a directory name. Okay, and third thing, it will give file names. This is what we want, right? So, and whenever we are uploading our files to S3 object, we want to retain the structure, folder structure. We don't want index.html, styles.css, samples.js. We don't want our S3 bucket to have files in this structure, because if you have your files in this structure, Apache web server will not read it like this. It will read include individual files, and it will not serve the styles.css, and it will not apply the styles effects on your web page. So how do we want? We want like this only. We want our structure to be like this. So we need to maintain the structure. We want to copy our files like this. Okay, so I hope you understood till here. The next requirement is that we want the folder structure to be like this. So this is the relative path. Okay, what is our requirement? This is our requirement. Okay, but the problem here is the directory path is only giving the path till here. It is only giving us this much. But what do we want? We want only this bit. But where is this bit? We don't have that bit. We only have that bit in file names. But we want the relative path. File names will only give index.html, styles.css. It will give individual file names, but it will not give css/style.css. It will not take the relative path. What is the relative path? That its respective folder. Okay, so what we will do? We can do this very simply. We will join this directory path and the file names. So this is a different bit. This is different bit, right? So what we will do? We will join to get this. First we'll get this, but our requirement is not this. Our requirement is not this. Our requirement is only this. First we'll try to join these two, and from this whole path we will, sorry, here we need to have this. Okay, from this we will remove this bit. So first we'll join this to get this. So how do we join? We have another method called os.path.join. Okay, in this join is also one of the methods, same like walk, same like upload underscore file, delete underscore objects. Similarly, join is also a method. For this method we need to tell, okay, join, please join directory path, because this is the directory path till here, and file names. So this is the file name, so it will include this one and this bit. So what we will get? We will get this portion when we run this. What we will do? We will keep this in a variable. Full absolute path equals to os.path.join with path file names. So when we run this, we will get this path, full path. From this, now what we will do? We will try to delete this portion. To delete that portion, we have another method, that is os.path.rel path. So in this relative path, we will tell to delete some portion. So we want to delete this portion, right? We want to delete this portion. So to delete this portion, where is this bit? Till here, this much is in this, right, directory path. So we'll tell delete this directory path which is till here. Remove this directory path from full absolute path. Got it? So we have joined directory path and file names. We got this. We got full path, including the file name. This is where is this? This is here. Now from this we are telling rel path to delete this portion. Now where is this portion? This portion is this one. Okay, this portion is here. So this is a directory path, right? os.walk is giving the directory path till here. So we are deleting this portion from the absolute path. This is the absolute path which is including css/style.css. So what we will get? We will be left with css/styles.css. So this is our requirement, right? So we wanted this requirement. So our requirement is fulfilled. Now what we will do? We will keep this in a variable. What do we call this variable? We will call this relative path. Okay. Now when we are getting this relative path, we also need to do one more step. It's a very simple step. We need to, from this relative path, we need to get take off the single slash, take off the double slash, and we need to get only forward slash. At the moment what we are getting is, when we execute this code, we'll get dot styles.css. So because when you are running this script in Windows machine, you will get the double slash, right? So what is our requirement? Our requirement is to convert this into our requirement is to convert this CSS /styles.css. So it's a simple thing. So what we will do? We will write my s3 file path equals we have relative path here, right? Relative path. We will just use another method, same like join. We have another method, that is replace. Here also we need to tell, we are using the method, we need to tell again, right? What do we need to replace? When we are using join, we are telling join these two arguments, and when we are using relative method, we are telling what to delete and what you need to have. So similarly, when you want to replace, we have this in this, right? So relative path dot replace, you just need to mention double slash with forward slash. When you run this, what you will get? You will get this when you run. That's it, simple. We got our whatever we want. This is our requirement. We got it. Now, as I've already explained the different bits of the Python script, now I will try to explain line by line, so it will make even more clarity. So import boto3 is a package we need to have. Import OS is the module we need to have. And Here, my S3 client, I have stored port3.client with the S3 service in this variable name. This is as simple as that. And bucket name, we have already created the bucket in the S3 service. And my local directory path is here. If you go here, I have all the website source files here in the barista cafe. For example, in this website source files, I have all the in the barista. I have all the source files. If you do pwd, we'll get this path. So the same path I am using here. Now the next thing is, let me do this. Now upload my files to S3. This is a simple function. Before going to the function, as I said, S3 client dot upload file, right? I've already explained this. Upload file will upload the files from this local path to this bucket, to this bucket name under the S3 file path. S3 file path, we wanted the relative path only under that key. Okay. So for this, upload my files to S3. This is a function, and whatever the arguments you are calling, while calling the function, the same arguments you will give in the function. Okay. Now, as I already said, os.walk will give you all the file names, directory names, and the directory paths. So for all the file names, we are getting the relative path. So when you have multiple files like this, we need to use for loop. So for directory path, directory names, and file names in os.walk in this particular folder. So what do you have in this variable? We have this path in this folder, in the barista cave folder. Okay. So from this, we are just taking all files in file names. So this is the third argument. I clearly said os.walk will give you directory path, directory names, and file names. So we are considering file names. So when we write for loop like this, what are we having? We are joining it. os.path.join. What is a directory path? This is a directory path. So the same directory path, you will get it from here. So the directory path with all files. What you will get? You will get the full absolute path with the file name. So from that, we are taking the relative path. From the relative path, for the relative path, we are deleting this portion, and we are just left over with the relative path portion. After getting the relative path, another simple step is to just get rid of this backward double slashes to forward slash. That's it. Now my s3 underscore client dot upload file method is expecting 3 arguments, and we have gave all those 3 arguments. Local file path is this, my bucket name is this, and the s3 file path is this, and we are simply calling the function. Now what we will do, we will call the function. So go to Python script, Python upload to s3. So go to the s3 service, and we have the steel bucket. See, we got all the files. If you see here, this is what I'm saying. So fonts slash css slash, we don't want individual files into this. So we want the folder structure to remain like this, as it is. So now we finished with step 4. So if you go here, this is a script, you have all the details. Since we finished the script, I'll give it to done. So now what is the next step? Log in with EC2 user, create IAM role, and for EC2 service, and give S3 full permissions in the pods. Okay. So for this, we also need to create a EC2 user in account B. I'll show you the architecture one more time. So what did we do? From local computer, we send the files, web source files to Amazon S3. Now there will be Apache web server running in account B. So what we will do, go to console and add a session. So this is account B, right? So give the account B details. So go to IAM, similarly we don't have to give all that, give the custom password right away and attach policies directly. EC2 full access. Next, create user. Now add session, the same account details. Now we'll launch a EC2. I already have the key pair. So what is the objective here in this step? You have to create the EC2 user, create IAM role for EC2 service and give S3 full permissions in the policy. Okay. Now you need to understand one thing. This EC2 user has got only EC2 full permissions, but can he attach a IAM role? No, because he only has a EC2 user and he's restricted to EC2 service. So we will go to IAM admin, and so basically what happens, this EC2 user will request the admin that he needs to attach an IAM role to the EC2 service. So when he requests this, IAM admin will create IAM role and attach it to the EC2. So in our case, what we will do, we go to the IAM admin and we'll create a IAM role. But before creating the IAM role, let's create the policy first. Create policy, choose EC2 service, and next, sorry, give the policy. So what are we doing here? The statement is to allow to get the object from the bucket and also the list the bucket. On which bucket? Still bucket. On which objects? On all objects. Okay, this is a policy. Policy name, policy for EC2. Okay, copy, paste the same thing, create policy. Now the policy is created. Okay, now we will go to the roles, create role, EC2, next, policy for EC2, select next, we'll give the role name, IAM role for EC2. Okay, create role. We got the policy. This is the policy we have created and we have attached it to IAM role. Now we will go to EC2 instances. Now select this instance, security, modify IAM role. This is the IAM role we have created. Update IAM role. That's it. So in this step, we were supposed to create the IAM role and attach it to EC2. So keep this to done. Now, what is the next step? We have to go to the S3 access user and give the bucket policy. Now, see, we have created EC2 user and we have launched EC2 instance. And now this EC2 instance is requesting S3. Okay, but the S3 also have to give the permissions, right? So that is the reason what we will do with this IAM role, what we have created in account B, that ARN has to be specified in the bucket policy. Okay, for the steel bucket, go to permissions. Here is the bucket policy. Edit the bucket policy and give this statement. So we are allowing principal. What is the principal here? IAM role, right? The IAM role ARN is this. So that ARN, we are giving the permission to list and get the object and also list the bucket on steel bucket and also the files inside the steel bucket. Okay. So it says invalid principal in the policy. Let me just cross check. What is the IAM role? Dev account. Go to the roles. This is the IAM role we have created. This is the ARN. So go to the bucket policy. So yeah, there's a mistake in the ARN. So give that ARN and save changes. Okay. So EC2 has requested the S3 in account A, and S3 also gave permission for the EC2 in account B. This part is done. Now we'll put it to done. So for the next step, I have accidentally added extra steps here. Go to EC2 access user, launch EC2, and we already did that. So I'm just deleting these two additional steps. So now what we should do, we have to go to the EC2 user, check if that EC2 has got permissions to access the bucket which is in account A. All right. So go to EC2, connect. Project key pair. Yeah. Now to check address S3 ls. What was the bucket name? Steel bucket, isn't it? See, now the EC2 instance which is in account B can access the S3 bucket which is in account A. So this portion is also done. So what is the next step now? We need to install Apache Web Server in EC2, and we'll have to make sure it serves the files from the S3. Since we got the access, EC2 got the access. Now let's make that EC2 that has web server serve the files from the S3. Okay, so what we should do, we should go to EC2, we launch EC2. Now here we need to install web server, right? So I already have the steps for the to install everything. Just take the commands, everything here. Okay, so to install web server, I gave all the commands in the Notion. Just take it from there. Status is active now. Now let's see. Go to public IP address. See, it works. Apache Web Service is working. Now, what we will do, we'll have to get the files from the S3, right? So what we will do, we'll just run this command. So what is this command? So we are syncing. We are using the AWS S3 sync command that syncs the files from the S3 bucket to the standard folder. Apache Web Server has a standard folder where it will serve the files from. So just run this command. Okay. Now if you go here and refresh, see, this is the KEF web page which I have downloaded from the toolkit. Now this part is also done. So where are these files coming from? These files are coming from S3 bucket, which is in account A. So go here and keep it to done. Now the next step is to run the Python sync script. Okay, before explaining the whole script, I just don't want to show the complete script, because the moment you see the script you will get overwhelmed. I don't want you to get scared by seeing the script. Instead, what I'll do, this is my habit actually, so you'll have to break any big problem into pieces. So in the same way, the Python script I will break into multiple pieces. I'll explain you the modules what we are using. So I'll tell you what are the problem, what is the agenda, what is the main objective. So for that particular objective, what is the solution? Do we have any modules which can do that? For example, what is our agenda now? So we have our local files in the we have files in the local directory and we are sending it to S3 through script. But every time if I change something, modify something, do I have to come to my local computer and run the script? No, I don't want to do that. So the moment if something is changed in the local directory, this script will automatically sync the files with the S3, and the same will be reflected in the web server. Okay, now we are in the whiteboard. First I'll explain watchdog. In the watchdog, we have watchdog.observers module. Okay, in the watchdog.observers module we have observers class. In the observers class we have dot start method dot schedule method. Okay, I'll explain you again. This is library. Okay, in the library we have module. Okay, in the module we have class. In the class we have methods. These methods are very important. So ultimately you will be using the methods to do anything. Okay. So this is order. So in the library you will have the modules, and in the module you will have class. In the class you will have methods. We'll also talk about watchdog events. That's another module we will be using. So basically we'll use watch.observers and watch.events to get our automation done. Okay, now if you see here this thing, just not start. What is this? Observers dot start this is start observing the directory, okay, for any changes. Okay, but the problem is this observers dot start is dependent on dot schedule. Okay, it is dependent on observer dot schedule method. This observer dot schedule will take some parameters, some attributes. So based on these parameters, it will do whatever you want. What is that we are asking? We want you to observe this local directory, and whenever you find any change, like created any new file, deleted any new file, or modified an existing file, you do this. So what is that we want to do? We want to send it to S3. Okay, so this, okay, now we are telling observers dot schedule to do this thing, but it will do, but on what basis it will send the files to S3 or any created file, newly created files or updated files, it will send to S3 on, but on what basis? So it needs 3 arguments. In among those, the first one is event handler, second one is local directory path, and the third one is recursive. Basically we'll put it to true because recursive is nothing but for all the files, so in the particular directory. So we know the local directory path, no problem. We know we are going to put it to true, this is also okay. But what is this event handler now? It has on created, on deleted, on modified events. So this event handler will have all these 3 events. But where is this coming from? This is actually coming from another module called watchdog.events. Okay, so this is also part of watchdog library. So we discussed here, yeah, watchdog has watchdog.observers module. We are using another module here, which is watchdog.events. Now this event will have 2 classes now. One is file system event, and the second one is file system handler. Okay, now here it is coming from here, this file system handler, sorry, this is file system event handler. This file system event handler has methods. As I already said, each class, any class will have methods. Now these are 2 classes, right? So we have library, watchdog.events is a module, and in the module we have 2 classes. Now these 2 classes this class will have src underscore path as a method and is directory method, and this event file system event handler class has on created, on modified, on deleted method. So these all are methods. Okay, now I will explain the script so that you will understand where all these things are fitting in. Okay, first we'll write a class like this is a arbitrary name, you can give anything, my s3 sync handler, and in the brackets now we are going to use a file system event handler. Okay, now we are using the file system event handler class. In the class we can use all these methods. Okay, now what I'll do, I will define a function now. Define on created. So all these methods can be used like this: created, self, my event. I'll explain after writing. Okay, now if not, my event dot is directory. Okay, then self dot upload file. Self dot upload file. Upload file is also a method. I will explain. In the upload file method, we are saying my event dot src path. Okay, print. This is optional. The print statement is optional because whenever a file is created and uploaded to S3, you just want to see this created. Okay, now same thing, we will write another function so that you will understand. So because here we have self.upload file, right? The upload file is also a function we need to define here. Def define upload file, again give self, because self is something that when there are multiple functions in one class, so you need to give self, otherwise it will become global, it will not consider as the self related to this particular class. So you need to give self for every function, every method. So here local file path. Now here, as you know, right, we already did all this thing. I'll show you. Relative path equals to os dot path dot rel path, relative path, local file path, local directory path. Now we also have to give the s3 file path as usual. For the upload files to s3, we have written a script, right? In the script, in that particular script, whatever the steps we have, we want all those to be executed. Equals to relative dot path, relative underscore path dot replace with what? With forward slash. Okay, s3 client dot upload file local file path bucket name file path. Now again the print statement is optional here. Print formatted string you can use, and what is it? New file being uploaded. Okay, you can also give the path here s3 file path. So we will define all these variables. I will show you in the real script. So here I want to explain you. So what is happening now? Now whenever a creator, for example, as I have taken this on created example, let's say a file is created in the local directory and the my observers is the module is watching the directory. Based on the schedule, it's going to do all these events. Now when a new file is created, you have this file system event class, right? What this will do, it will take the src path, source path. So a file is created, right? That particular created file's path is sent where? It is sent here. Okay, the moment it is sent here, what is that we are doing? We are telling on the in this particular function, if not, my event is dot my underscore event dot is underscore directory. So we are also checking if a file is not a file, if it is a folder, we don't want it to upload because s3 doesn't support adding empty folders. Okay, so what we are doing is we are checking first if it is a directory or not. If it is not a directory, then self dot upload file my event dot src path. So we are calling this function. We are telling to, in this function we are telling do this, but where is this? Here, this is here. Okay, now this src path is sent here and we are checking if it is a normal file or a directory. If it is not a directory, then self dot upload file method, we are calling this method. So this, the method is here, upload underscore file. So now this file goes here, local file path. So my event dot src path is sent here, where besides the self it is local file path. So it is sent as a local file path here. So you can write whatever the name you want. Instead of local file path, you can just say newly created file path. So this is arbitrary. Now once it comes here, this is as usual, we already seen this 3 lines. This is a flow. So as I have already explained the bits of the Python script, what is a class, module and everything. Now I will show you the script line by line, because I cannot write each and every line of the Python script and explain it, because it is not the Python class. So as I already said in the starting of the video, that you need to have little bit basics of the Python to understand this project. Especially if you understand these three four things, like what is a package, library, and what is a module, what is a class, and what are the methods in the class, and if you create a class and how to create an object out of it. When you create an object out of it, you can use all the methods which are in the class with this particular object with the dot notation. So let's say if you have observers class, so what you will do, you will keep this observer in a variable. Now that is making an object out of that class. Now whatever the methods are there in the observers, for example you have start and you have stop, all those can be used with the newly created object with dot notation. So you just try to Google this and see what is the difference between the library, module, class, and methods. Methods and functions are those are almost same. It is used interchangeably. Okay, now what I will do, I'll show you the script. Whatever the concept I've explained you, it's same. These are the modules we are using for our purpose. Boto 3 is the AWS SDK, as you already know.
OS is to interact with the operating system, which we already seen this bit in the other script where we uploaded the files to S3. Now here watchdog.observer is the module, and watchdog events is the these two are the modules from the watchdog library. From observers module, we are taking observers class, and from the watchdog events module, we are just importing file system event handler class. We don't have to import the file system event class, because anyway this file system event handler is depending upon the file system event. Internally the watchdog will send the source path. So S3 client, we have stored the S3 client in one variable S3 client, and the same that's what I said, right? When you have variabilized this, we can use S3 underscore client dot upload object, delete object, all the methods we can use, and the bucket name local directory path is fine. Now as I said, file system event handler is a class, and we are creating our own subclass. Okay, what is happening here? Upload file is the method that will be ultimately called. So when a file is created, a new file is created, my event label will hold the value of the path, and with the is directory method, this is is directory and is and src underscore path, these two attributes are from file system event class that we did not import it. We need not import that. So the value of the newly created file is passed to my event, and with is directory attribute we are checking if that event is a file or a folder. If it is a folder, if it is a directory, we don't want to upload, because S3 will not allow you to upload empty folders. So if it is not a directory and it is a file, and we are calling the self.upload file function. Where is this upload file function? Here, it will go here. So whatever the file value is sent here, and that is again sent to upload file with my event.src path, and that src path is here. Now when we call the upload file function, it is going here, and that is the reason we use self like this. So within this it will take the value, and you can have this block down and you can have this block up, it doesn't matter. These all functions are part of this class, so you can write wherever you want. Okay, so once this upload file method is called, these three steps we already learned. I clearly explained why we are taking the relative path, what S3 is expecting. S3 is expecting only the relative path, not the complete absolute path. It is expecting the relative path, but also absolute path till the file name. Now the same thing is happening. So let's say if instead of a file is created, let's say an existing file is modified, again my file system event will hold the source path of the modified file, and it will send here, and we are again checking if it is a directory or a file. If it is not a directory, then again we are calling the self.upload file. This value will go again here, and we are uploading the file to the S3. Same, it's very simple. For on deleted, it is little different, because for on deleted we don't have to upload the file, right? Whatever is there in the S3 bucket, we are just deleting. So for that, what we need to use, we need to use dot delete object method. Here if you say dot delete object, whatever the path of the value of the file will come here, and we are again checking if it is a directory or the file. If it is a file, then s3 client dot delete object, it will delete the object, but you have to tell which bucket and what's the path. Similarly, this event, where it is going, it is going my event.src path, it is in the relative path, and the same relative path we are replacing it, so the value is in s3 file path. So the s3 file path, this will become the key. Okay, and ultimately what is that we are running? My observer.start, because as I already said, observer is a class. When we keep the class in any variable, we are creating an object of the class. Now my observer dot start dot stop dot join, everything, all those methods which are in the observer class can be used with this variable using the dot notation. Similarly, that's what we are doing, right? My observer dot schedule. Actually, the schedule is in observer, right? So observer dot schedule, and these three, if you give these three parameters values, it will do the scheduling. It will start observing the directory, and it will do the events. So what is the event? My event handler, where it is, this one, file system event handler. Now we are creating the object for this. My s3 sync handler is here, right? The same thing, this one here is stored in this variable. Means when a class is stored in a variable, it means that we are creating an object out of it. And if you create an object, you can use all the particular classes methods with the dot notation of the object. Okay, now my event handler is here, and we are starting my observer dot start, and we are keeping the whole Python script in the try except block, because you, for example, if there is any issue with the script and we want to store all the logs in a variable, and we can debug that later. My observer dot join is another method in the observer class. What is that is, for example, if I've run the script, but as a keyword interrupt, if I pressed Ctrl C or escape, the script will stop. So when the script is stopped, I don't want to stop that script abruptly. I want to stop it gracefully. That is the reason we are using join method. It's very simple. As I already said, break the Python script into pieces. Don't see the script like this. Oh my god, I don't understand all this. No, what is happening? What is the module we are using? What is the class you are using? What in that particular class, what are the methods? What methods we are using? For example, s3 client dot upload method, delete method, upload, it will upload. Yes, but you have to give the necessary arguments. You have to give the method the required values. Just pass those values. That's it. It will do the job. Okay, this is the script. All right. Now what we will do? We will run this script. Go to my local directory. Now currently it is smartcase 25. What is it? Right. So what we will do? We will run the script. Python into S3. So what this will do? It will start observing the directory based on what you give. Now what I will do? I'll just give 26 and I will save. What is happening? It is showing the file has been modified. Okay. Now if you go to S3 bucket, it will update here. So based on just check the time whether if it is updated or not. Okay. Now go here, and if you refresh it, it will show 26. So it is done. Now my problem is I don't want to the moment this script is started, I don't want to run this script like this. Okay, but the thing is, let's say if I change it again, now it shows the file has been modified. But if you go here, it doesn't show. What we need to do, we need to go to our EC2 and we need to run s3 sync. Where HTML. If it still doesn't show, what you need to do, you need to use -exact single I think it's hyphen. I think it's the sudo. Yeah, okay. Now what you need to do, if you go here and refresh, it will be same. But the problem is this: I don't want to go through all this sync3 command, s3 command, and all that whenever I change the file, or let's say if the system is rebooted. I don't want to do all that stuff. So instead, what I will do, I will run this particular AWS S3 sync command, especially this one, in a shell script. And what I will do, I'll have the shell script as the systemd service. So what happens when you run anything with the systemd service? Whenever you restart the system, this systemd service will run automatically with the boot process. So that is what we will do now. So go here. So copy this whole script. This script is nothing. Just while true means it is true. We are telling it is true, and it will run the script forever. Just remove the index HTML existing HTML file, and the same line whatever we have written typed manually, I'm just having it in the script, and give the folder permissions and sleep for one. We want to run the script for one every 1 second. So what we will do, I'll copy this script. Done. Okay, now save this, and if you want to run the script once manually and see that if it is working. Okay, shell. Okay, so we don't have to run the AWS S3 sync command again and again. Now what we will do, we'll go here and change it to 28. Okay, yeah, it is showing 28 now. Okay, now what we will do, instead of running this like this, we will run it as a systemd. So if even the system is rebooted, it will start with the system itself. Okay, what we will do, we will go here and create a service. Okay, copy all these files. This is nothing but you'll just get this information if you Google. We are just running it as a service. Just give any name, network.target. Here this part is important. You need to give exactly whatever the script you want to run. Instead of a shell script, you can run the Python script also directly. If you want to experiment that, please experiment and comment it down if you have worked that out. All right, so copy this. Okay, save it. Now what we need to do, the moment you have any new file, we'll have to reload the daemon and restart the systemd. Okay, if you want to check the status of the service, it is active, right? So what we will do, we'll go to the Python script. Now we will make it 29 and save it. So a file has been modified. It shows the print statement. That's it. So where are these files coming from? Basically the files are sent from local computer to S3 bucket, from which is, this is in account A, and from the account A, EC2 is serving the files from this S3 bucket, and this EC2 is in account B. So if you see the flow, if you see the automation, so there is ultimate possibilities when you learn the Python. The whole idea of doing this demo is to understand how Python can be leveraged for such things. So before that, let me put this to done, and we also run the shell script through systemd service. That is also done. As I said, we have the drawbacks, some drawbacks for this kind of architecture what we did, but what I want to say is, till now the project is okay. It has been, I think it's been more than 1.5 hours. I guess I need to edit the file and edit the videos. So for the better option, what I want to demonstrate, we'll take it as a part 2. Consider this is a part 1, and I will do the part 2. But please comment down if you really like the project. This is the first time I've started doing the project for DevOps related tasks. If there is any problem, just comment down. I'll try to improve in my next 2 videos. Please like, share and subscribe, because I took a lot of time in doing these projects. It's not really easy. Whoever is doing all the video tutorials out there in the YouTube, they are actually spending a lot of time. I also spent a lot of time after my job. I'm taking extra time for you to just understand. Of course, I'm also learning. I'm sharing my knowledge, whatever I'm learning. I'm also coming up with the second project you must have seen in my screen somewhere. I have a second project. It's a very interesting project. So if you really want to see the part two of this project, please comment down. If I really get enough support, I'll do the part two. Okay. Thank you so much. See you in the part two.